Today's workout is a 12-minute prenatal back and core workout. This is great if you have any back pain or tension and keeping your core strong and your back strong as you progress throughout your pregnancy. We're gonna start with a quick warm-up, so let's come down on our hands and knees. You can just have your weights off to the side. We're using light to medium weights today. So you're gonna begin with a cat-cow, arching your back, looking up, and then rounding your back, tucking your chin. Pull that belly button in toward your spine and repeat. Just flowing through the movement as fast or as slow as you feel like. We're just warming up the spine here. And as you round that back, pull your belly button in toward your spine to engage your inner abdominal wall. We want to continue to engage that throughout the workout, especially as we add the weights. We're gonna move on to our bird dog. So you're gonna raise one arm and one leg. Let's say the right arm and right leg first, or I'm sorry, right arm and left leg, it's opposites. So come up about shoulder level, hip level with the leg, come down and switch sides. So again, opposite arm, opposite leg. That arm is about shoulder height, the leg is about hip height. Squeezing that glute as you lift, pulling your belly button in toward your spine, staying really controlled here. Most of these movements, it's not about how fast you're going, it's about control. And you'll notice when my hand is on the ground, whichever arm that is, it's in a vertical line. So shoulder, elbow, wrist, and that's gonna keep everything balanced and also help you keep the work in your core. Almost there. And rest. We're gonna move on to a bear squat. So what we're gonna do here is come into a plank and then push the hips to the heels and then re-engage, come into that plank. So on your toes, push your hips back and then come forward, shoulders over wrists, back in the plank. Hips go back again, plank. Now if that's too difficult, you can drop the knees down and come to like a bear position. But every time I want you to push your hips toward your heels, feel that stretch in the back of your body. It's also great for opening up those hips, and then the plank, of course, you can tell you're feeling your abs work here. But again, if that's too intense, you can always come here and put the knees down. You're gonna feel it in your quads too. Almost there. Nice. All right, we're moving to our feet. We're gonna come to an inchworm plank. So come to the back of your mat, feet under your hips. We're gonna crawl forward, hinging at the hips, like this, hinge. Come into your plank, shoulders over wrists, abs tight. Crawl right back through that hinge position. And the bigger your belly is, the wider you may need to take your feet here. Do whatever feels comfortable. Brace that core right here, pull the belly button in. And again, coming through that squat every time. So you can see I'm sitting back into my hips. My chest is still up, so I'm not rounding my spine. And what that is gonna do is keep your spine safe and create that mobility that we want in the back and core, in the hips. So we're getting strong, and we're also putting the work into the muscle, not the joint. Almost there. Time. Okay, we're gonna grab one of our weights now. We're gonna do a good morning. You're gonna hold the weight on your chest, and you can also do this without weight. Feet under your hips, elbows in. We're gonna push the hips back, come down to a flat back, stand up. So that weight stays close to you. Your chin is tucked. Your eye gaze is about 6 feet ahead when you come down. Back flat, weight in your heels. Core is engaged. You should feel this down the whole back of your body. So lower back, glutes, hamstrings. Keeping that core engaged is gonna protect your spine, and as well as keeping your neck in neutral, which means that chin is tucked. You can always do it without the weight too. I'm using a 10-pound dumbbell, but you can go lighter. You could even go a little heavier if you feel like it. Let's rest. We're gonna move on, grab both weights. We've got a deadlift. So feet about hip width apart or a little wider if you need it. Weights to the legs, chest up, shoulders back. We're hinging from the hips, bringing those weights down to a flat back and standing up. So we're sliding those weights down and up the legs. That's gonna keep that work in the back of the body and also keep us from straining our lower back. The further you take the weights away from you, the harder it's gonna be on your low back. So we wanna stay in control here. And you'll notice as I'm hinging forward, I'm not dropping my chest. I'm keeping a little squeeze between my shoulder blades, and that's gonna keep that tension in the back of my body without straining. And I'm keeping my core tight as always, belly button pulled in towards spine. I know it's a lot to remember, but good form is so important, especially when we're talking about strengthening our back and core. Time, all right. We're gonna take one dumbbell, or I'm sorry, we're gonna use both dumbbells, take one leg back behind it for a kickstand deadlift. So we're gonna hinge forward, tip into that front leg, flat back, stand up. So you can see my back foot's a couple feet behind my front foot, and I'm putting all my weight in my front leg. Shoulders back and down, I hinge forward to a flat back position, and then I stand up. And as I stand up, I'm pushing through my front heel, squeezing my glute. So you're gonna feel this isolation a lot more in that glute and hamstring of the front leg. And that's what we want here. And if it's too intense, you don't have to go quite as low as I'm going. You can also stay a little higher, or the easiest option would be to reduce your weight. Again, maintaining that strong posture. We're almost there. Nice. All right, we're gonna switch sides. So other leg comes forward now. Step it back. Again, that front leg is where all your weight is. Back leg is just for balance. Let's hinge forward and stand up. So again, that back leg, it's like a kickstand. That's why I call it a kickstand deadlift. It's really just there to help you balance. And you can play around with how far back that leg is. If you need to step it in a little bit, you can do that. If you need to go back a little further, you can do that. But again, you want that weight in your front leg, pushing through that front heel as you stand up. This one's really great for your glutes, challenging each leg. So if you've got a stronger and a weaker side, which everybody does, this will help even everything out. And this is a modification to the single leg deadlift where we would lift the back leg, if you're familiar with some of my other workouts where we do that. But during pregnancy, balance is compromised, rest, so we take it a little bit easier. All right, we're gonna move to a dead row. So I'm gonna show you from the side again, feet about hip width apart. We're gonna tip from the hip, pull those weights back toward the ribs. We're gonna stay down. And as you can see, I'm pulling my elbows to the back, squeezing my shoulder blades together. Just like that deadlift, I've got a tight core, a flat back. My chin is tucked and I'm looking about 6 feet ahead. Of course, you're not as low. And if you need to here, you can stand up between the rows like this instead of staying down the whole time. And that will take a little bit of that pressure off. But if you want to make it a little more challenging, just keep that core tight and stay down in the rows. This one's getting tough, especially the more weight you have, the harder these will be. But we want to stay smart with that weight. Rest. We want to do something that's appropriate, but not gonna like kill you. Okay, drop one dumbbell. We're gonna come back to that kickstand position. So one leg forward, one leg back. The leg that's back, pull that arm up toward the rib and release. My opposite hand is just right here on my hip. And again, I'm putting most of my weight in that front leg now, that kickstand position, pulling that dumbbell up to about my upper rib cage here. Squeezing my shoulder blade back and down, keeping that chin tucked, nice flat back. Depending on how heavy your weight is, you can move slower or faster in this one, up to you. You can feel that front glute working. Glutes are such an important part of the core, so we really want to challenge them too. Good work. All right, we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So switch those feet, tip forward and pull. And you can see as I'm pulling, show you from the front, I'm not rotating my hips or my chest. I'm tightening up my abs as I bring that elbow straight back, squeezing that shoulder blade back and down. And that's gonna allow that meaty part of the back, the lats, to do the work here. We're also getting a little tricep work, shoulder work, of course the core. That's what I love about these movements. You're not just doing one thing, you're not just working one muscle group. Nice. All right, moving on to our reciprocal row. So we're gonna do both weights now. We're gonna stay down in that hinged position like we did for the dead row, and then alternate rowing with the arms. So tip forward, we row right, left. As you put one down, you pick the other up. Pull that elbow to the back, squeeze that shoulder blade back and down. Now again, weight back in those heels, chest up, abs are tight. This one's tough, but it's our last one. So I want you to move through with control. And if you start to feel like it's too intense, you stand up and you come back down and get into it when you feel ready. Breathe through this one, we're almost there, 10 seconds. And we made it. Only 12 minutes to strengthen the back and core. Now you're gonna feel fatigued in your lower back after that workout, so be sure to give it a rest, stretch out afterwards, and if you need a stretch video, I have several prenatal, postpartum, and regular cool down videos for you to do after your workout. So be sure to check those out and see my channel for my other prenatal workouts, and I will see you next time.